celebrating 20 years of possibility.
I'm Wes Stowers, and this is my boss and daughter Lisa, and we believe that anything is possible.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. Wes Stowers is my guest, but today we get to meet the present and the future. Would you please introduce our special guest, Wes?
Proud to introduce my daughter Lisa Stowers-Rottmann, who is president of our company and soon to become CEO.
Lisa, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for letting Dad and I spend some time together.
I'm excited about this. So how did this happen? And how does it feel to have him call you president and to mention that you will be CEO? How did that all come to be?
Oh, I've grown up as a really good example. So the company, we moved to the United States when I was 5 years old, when Dad entered the family business. And so I've grown up around it, where the customers and the employees were my family. And so I always loved the company, always felt it the second family that we have outside of our blood family. But growing up, there weren't a lot of women in the Caterpillar dealer, so it wasn't ever a thought that, oh, that's not what I'm gonna do. It just, there weren't really a whole lot of examples. They say if you can't see it, you can't be it. And fortunately for me, there were some brave women that came before me that really kind of broke the mold and changed the way I thought about it. So around high school time period, Dad approached me and said, you know, I know you love the people, you want to learn more about the business. And I fell in love with it. And so around high school and college, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And after college, I was fortunate my mentor had me working in the yard and on the wash bay and in the shop, and it really made me fall in love with what we do more, because it wasn't just the office work. It was seeing what our people do day in and day out and getting appreciation for the core of the business. And went to business school and then worked at a consulting firm, but always knew I wanted to come back, and have been back for about 11 years now, and my husband and I working in the business together there. But it's really been an evolution. So hearing Dad say that, it makes me proud to see him proud, because I know he has said that he always wanted to live up to his dad's expectations. I feel the same way, but there's been a lot of, my dad's been very gracious as we've transitioned with Caterpillar on giving us advice and leading us, but also letting us try new things and look at the business differently. So it really is it's a great privilege that we have.
You have siblings?
I do. So I have a younger sister, and she's my best friend, and she's an owner in the business as well. And she has always been, it's her family as well, and is very passionate and on our board and an actively engaged owner on that.
So, Wes, let me ask you this question. I've talked to so many CEOs. I haven't met a CEO yet that doesn't say, you know, my job is really being a great people picker, having the right people in the right place, doing the right thing the right way, right? Succession planning in family businesses is huge. The people that I know in family business say, if you can make it to a second generation, you're great. If you can make it to a third generation, you've done something absolutely incredible. But that making it from one generation to the next is a tough thing. And to make the decision on who's going to lead the company, especially when you are, I've served on a couple of boards with you. You are a data master. You are a great people person, but you look at the numbers. Is it working or is it not working? What's going on here? I've never seen anybody that can look at a P&L or a balance sheet and know in 5 minutes what's going on here. Am I right about that, Lisa?
Oh, absolutely.
You can hear the story jumping off the page. So you had to make a decision about who was going to lead the business, not just the family business, but the business. What was it about Lisa that made you go, not just to have her in the business, this is the future of the business? And when did you make that decision and why?
Well, first of all, this is something you have to have a passion for. I didn't want her to feel forced or coerced, and neither she or Rachel, they need to make their own decisions growing up. She was exposed, when she mentioned that she moved to Knoxville, moved to the United States, she literally meant that. She was born overseas and spent her first 5 years in 2 foreign countries. So when she moved here, this was the first thing she knew from 5 years on. And growing up, coming into the business, it was something I hoped she would want to do, but I didn't want to make it where it was compulsory. And exposure in the summers, she proved her worth, earned people's respect, and she's never taken it for granted. She has a stewardship approach that I think is very healthy, and it recognizes it's not about her, it's bigger than herself. We got an enterprise that has a purpose, and she cares about our people to the max, and picking the right people. You can have a bunch of superstars that are pulling in different directions and you won't be successful. We've got a great team, and she and Ed have been building their team as people retire, bringing in new talent. And we're as strong today as we've ever been, and I feel very proud of what she and Ed have built and are building today.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel.
So my question was, but when did you know? It's one thing to have her working in the business. It's another thing to go, president, CEO, fire myself, hire her. When did you know she had that capability?
Well, she's proven herself many years ago. I knew that she had a passion for the business and her ability to, she understands numbers. She's a lot better at numbers than I am today. And she's got a handle on the new technologies that are coming at us fast and furious, and better ways of doing things. I think she's more organized, and she certainly is more strategic thinking. I'm more tactical, hands-on.
She's more organized than you?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And,
really?
Yes. She's got 3 children, 8, 6, and 4, and has a whole lot more on her plate than I did when I was her age, and she handles it all.
Lisa, when did you know? When did it's one thing to work in the family business or to be on the board or to, be a part of what's going on. It's another thing to lead a major enterprise, 400 plus employees, big budgets, critical stuff. When did you know that you had a passion for the business, but you also had a passion for leadership?
So I think I'll start on the passion for the business. One of the things that Dad always encouraged me to do is, even though I'd out of college worked in the business, was to try work somewhere else for a little bit. And so working for another company in a completely different career space, I loved it and I was passionate about it. But I always had an inkling, this is not where I'm supposed to be, because I'd experienced the family business. And I think going to try something else made it, I'm solidified that this is what I want to do, and there's no other question. And also, being able to work somewhere else and have confidence that I could get a job somewhere else, so it's my choice. That was really important on the business. I'm still, just full transparency, on the leadership and the running the business, I'm still humbled by that all the time. And I feel Dad talks a lot about the stewardship. I have a big responsibility to carry on the legacy, but it's really not me carrying it on. We've got so many people on our team that love the business and have family members working there as well. And so I think it's building the team around you. Once I came in, I knew I wasn't going to leave, and that's where I wanted to be. And every single day, just becoming more and more passionate about what we do and who we get to do the work with. It's really a privilege to work there with the team that we have.
When you look at your dad, he's a great person of possibility. Your grandfather, your grand uncles, they had great vision. to bring us to where we are now. But when you look at your dad, what are the things that you admire most about him, like that you want to emulate? But when you look at him, the stuff that, especially as you're leading an enterprise now, what stands out to you?
My dad lives it. So that's one thing. I know you know my dad well. If he believes in something, he's 100% in. He's got really, really strong integrity. I never question whether my dad's doing the right thing or not, because I know he's got a moral compass that's very sound. He has an incredible way to live with purpose and to really inspire other people. So his presence at work with customers and when he's involved in something, he gets things done not just because he's an executor, but because he has a leadership skill that other people want to emulate. It's contagious. And so when he lives it at work, being able to, one of the great things with a family business is you know your dad, and he comes home at night and he's your dad. Over the last almost 11 years, we've gotten to know each other as coworkers and colleagues as well. And I can speak very clearly to how much he lives the business, but also the livelihood of our coworkers and our customers. It's in the industry in general.
He lives it.
He does.
Integrity. So that's what you see and want to emulate.
Dad talks a lot about if you always tell the truth and you always do the right thing, you don't have to ever question what you said. And there's something to that, but I think beyond that, you can know there's going to be hard decisions and there's always gray, and it's easy to take shortcuts. If you choose not to do it every single time, that's how you build a culture where you're living by example, that the rest of the team's going to do that. And that's one thing about my dad. I don't think there would be anybody that would say he's ever lied to me, he's ever taken anything from me, or he's taken a shortcut to take advantage of somebody. He'll go above and beyond to do the right thing and do the right thing by somebody. And that's something that has really been foundational in our culture, because our team does the exact same thing because he led by example.
I never thought about this till right now, that I love what you just said. You said he lives it. And that's big for a daughter to say. Like, it's one thing, I see you at work, I see you at home, wait a minute, these two things don't match. But to have them match in a way where you go, man, I want to live up to, that's just a great way to be. But when you have that kind of clarity about who and what you are, and when that filters down into the culture of the organization, it probably exposes anything that isn't that pretty quickly.
It's the barometer of what's going to be accepted and what's not. And the great thing is, it also, the leaders that have come into our business and stayed in our business stay because they know that about him. And it's what I want to emulate and live up to too, is we're going to have disagreements, we're going to have issues, but we're always going to do the right thing and take care of each other. And there's lots of strong personalities in the construction industry. But at the end of the day, it's still an industry where trust and integrity and doing the right thing's so critical.
Is he letting you lead?
I will say, for him, because he lives it, he has been so gracious, especially in the last 2 years when we've made the transition. I know it's hard. I know it's hard for him because he could probably do some of the things in his sleep that I'm trying to struggle through and learn, but I know it's been an intentional choice by him to allow the executive team to start to listen to Ed and I on things, or what do Lisa and Ed have to say about that? And that's a gift. Not every family business has that, and I'm really grateful for it. And I know, like I said, it wasn't a job that he did 8 to 5 and then had all these other things he wanted to do. He does have other things he wants to do, but he looks at the business as a third child. He really does, and that's why it's done so well as a family.
So you've got a unique thing going on that I want to come to before we get away. What do you admire about your daughter? It's obvious she loves you, but what do you admire about her as a leader, and what possibility do you see in her?
Well, her moral compass. She's I'm blessed to be married to her mother, but her mom set a great example growing up. But Lisa's She doesn't take shortcuts, and she's got a strong moral compass. We may disagree on whether to turn left or right, but not on the purpose behind it. And as you get older, you find there's many ways to do one thing, so pick one and do it well. And I'm watching things that she and Ed are doing today in the company that are working out better than they were before. So, but the biggest thing with Lisa, she's very, very bright, she's very driven, very compassionate for others, but she absolutely won't take shortcuts.
You've got a unique thing. Pop's already said you're raising a family as you're running an enterprise. You're working with your dad, but there's this other guy named Ed that's in the business too, your husband. Tell me about Ed and tell me how all of that works.
I'll say the great thing, you know, we met in business school, so we're like, we complement each other so well. We do these case studies and it's things on paper and we get along really well and we balance well. When you put that into an actual career, you learn a lot about your spouse. And I will tell you, it's made our marriage stronger because we've learned to communicate really well. And we are different people. We're both type A. It shouldn't work on paper, but it works well because we've gotten to learn really what makes the other person, kind of like I was saying with Dad, to learn about who he was as a colleague and a coworker. Gotten to learn that with Ed too. He's an excellent partner in business, but also at home with the kids and also my best friend. So I will say he co-parents, and so our kids are really fortunate to have both parents really involved in the day-to-day.
What's his role in the company?
So he's COO in the company now, but honestly, we have different skill sets and we run it in have different styles, but he's focused a lot on our growth for how do we diversify, how do we grow the business, what are different opportunities in the area, and so he's got a really good pulse on where the market's going for construction in the industry and has been focusing a lot on that with our customers.
You know, I think one of the neat things, the name of the show is Anything is Possible, right? I think one of the neat things about the way that you guys are partnering together in your business and in life is the fact that you raised her in such a way that she felt like it was possible. Not a lot of women in this business.
Her mom had a lot to do with that too. Her mother gave her lots of confidence growing up and support. I was hardly in her life when I was in the military. I was gone all the time, and her mother gets a lot of that credit.
I do have a great mom. I will say that. I've got a great dad and a great mom. That's the jackpot.
So, crazy question. What piece of equipment best represents your dad?
So the iconic model for Caterpillar is a bulldozer. And a bulldozer's strong, and it paves the way forward, and it makes a path for everyone to follow. And so my dad is a bulldozer and definitely leading with vision and also paving way for other people.
Over, I guess, close to 400 products Caterpillar makes. What piece of equipment is Lisa?
She would be an excavator, hydraulic excavator. It's a machine that takes a lot of skill to operate, but it's what actually digs the trenches, the footers, builds, loads material. It's the key productive machine on a job site.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Well, you know, I'm going to be retiring from the day-to-day. I'll still stay involved, but there's some other, I love children, and there's some opportunities to help continue giving back in this community. Boys and Girls Club, scouting are very important to me. Helen Ross, McNabb, UT Hospital. There's lots and lots of wonderful organizations that, while I'm still have my health, I certainly want to remain involved in. And the legacy, I just want people to hopefully remember me as somebody that tried to make things better in my own little space, and set an example for my children and our grandchildren. We've got 5 of them now, and I had great examples growing up with my grandparents, my parents, and I want to be thought of as well as I think of my father.
What do you want your legacy
And
to
mother.
be? And mother. What do you want your legacy to be, Lisa?
Oh man, I don't think about it a lot. That's a really good question. I mean, it's similar. I want to be a good person and I want to give back more than I've gotten. And Dad talks a lot about being born on third base and not confusing it with a triple. And I want to make the world a better place, and I want those that choose to come be part of the Stowers Machinery family, for their families to be blessed. Like, that's one of the biggest compliments that we have, is when someone brings their child in, or somebody that cares to be part of our family. And I want my children to feel very valued and loved and part of this extended family that I've also been privileged to be part of.
You know, I always tell people that if God gives you a dream and you move forward and you try to, you know, accomplish that vision He's placed in your life, you may not know it, but other people's dreams live inside of dreams, which is, you know, so when you see somebody, they got a good job, they're able to send their kids to school, they're able to take vacations because you did what you needed to do. Dreams living inside of dreams is the way we make the world better. So thank you for literally moving us forward with who you are and what you do.
Thank you.